What's up, guys? I know it's been a while since my last video, but I've been a little sick and holidays keeping everyone busy, but it's okay because there wasn't that much happening with Bitcoin, honestly. I was kind of expecting it to just keep going lower until around this point, 39K. And just to give you guys a bit of a refresher, last time when we were talking, when we were looking at the yearly volume, all right, I had said around when we break a value area high, okay, because usually an asset, what it likes to do is it likes to trade kind of sideways, right, all the time. So we're going from the value area low to the value area high, and it'll try to break down or break above it. And what happens is that if it's accepted above that price, it goes into price discovery mode until it reaches another sideways range, right? Now what happened here is that we had a break, but no one was interested in buying at these levels. So what we had is called a deviation or a failed auction at these prices. And when this happens and we break back into the old range, there's two levels that become very important. It's the point of control, which is the first level to be hit when this happens. And if it doesn't hold because the asset is too weak, what happens is that it always, or not always, but it's very probable that it goes down to the value area low. And this is kind of where we are right now. So if you look here, we went from the value area high to point of control down to the value area low. We didn't hit the value area low, but we did hit some important points. And those important points being, we took out the liquidity from the dump of December 4th, and we took out these four lows of liquidity from the October, around 41K. So that's a lot of liquidity. We're at the bottom of the range. It's looking really good right now, all right, for some upside. If we look at Market Cipher on the daily time frame, we see that not only are we at the bottom of the range, all right, but we're also making, if you look, bullish divergences on the daily time frame that are confirmed, all right. The daily VWAP is pointed straight up. We've already come up a little bit, all right. On the 4-hour time frame, if we look, we're making bullish divergences on the money flow, all right. Look, price went lower, but the money flow made a higher low, right? So that means money is coming in, right? There's a lot of interest in Bitcoin. If you go a little bit lower on the time frames, all right, we came up from this low. We got the SFP, right? So we grabbed all the liquidity. We easily made it past the value area low of this range. We broke through the point of control, back tested it, broke out, and we're headed up. Now, the question is how high can we go from here? Before we get too bullish, all right, we have to be, we have to have our heads on straight. We have to look at a couple of things. Now, since $69,000, we've been in a downtrend, all right. We've been downtrending. It's been lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. Now we made a lower low. So bearish market structure. So if we go by probabilities, the next thing that can happen is most probably going to be a lower high, all right. And now where's that lower high going to come from? If we look and see just right off the bat, okay, there's a couple of things. So if we turn back on the yearly volume, we have a high volume node on the year, all right, coming in at around 47,000. Okay. I also pulled up, this is my triple volume, right? So it's a volume pulled from the May dump, July's run up all the way to 69K, and the drop from 69 until now. And all three of these, if you look, their point of controls all come in at $47,000. All right. So there's heavy amounts of volume being traded at this level. Okay. It's not going to break easily. And if you're looking just in terms of market structure, I mean, this was an old low, a lower low, a lower high, and then we broke it. Now, to get past that, it's going to already just structurally, it's going to have some issues. And if we look at this is a 1-hour bearish order block that we got right here on top of it, right? So we got the 1 hour bearish order block. It's a very high volume environment. Okay, we're coming up to it, so it's gonna be treated as a resistance. If we take some Fibonacci retracements, okay, and we take it from here, we have the 382 coming in at that level, and if we take it from this other significant high, we have the golden pocket coming in here, right? So this red box is becoming more and more significant in terms of resistance. All right, a couple of things I also wanted to point out. If we look at the previous week's levels, right, so what I like to do is I like to map out the previous week high, low, value area high, point of control. All right, so our previous week, our value area high, all right, because remember what I explained earlier is that an asset likes to kind of range between a value area high and value area low, right? So now we hit the value area low, we found support, and now we're going to come up. The value area high of the previous week comes in just at 46K, all right? So it's still within our red box. And our previous month value area low, all right, comes in at around 46K as well, right? So both of these, again, resistance. Let me see, what else did I want to show here? We have the order block that I showed. Oh yeah, so also another thing I wanted to just point out. We found, like, this is a pitchfork that I've been using since the COVID dip all the way until now. It's been super well respected. Look at this, the middle of the fork acted as resistance, found support on the 618 of the fork, resistance here. As soon as we lost the middle of the fork again, we dropped very heavily. And usually what happens is, if we do ever end up getting a tap of the end of the pitchfork, all right, if you get a bounce from here, a lot of times what happens is that we will see a move from here to at least the middle of the pitchfork, all right, if not to the top of the pitchfork. We didn't quite hit it yet. It doesn't have to, all right. We didn't quite hit it, but if I'm going to talk about a little bit some levels to the downside that we could look for later, but for now, the yellow line of this pitchfork, if we do move up, does coincide again with the red box as resistance, if not even the green up here, possibly, right? So there's a lot of resistance here, and what I did was I found a fractal, all right, from our past price action, and I imposed it onto what's happening right now. And Bitcoin likes to work in fractals a lot of the time. And if we turn that on, it's been following this one really well. So we had the initial big drop, we had a downwards consolidation, a rise, a rejection down, and now what the fractal is showing is that this will be a bullish fractal in this case. Okay, so this is our bullish scenario. It's showing that we would come up to this area, the red box, like we were saying, around 46 to 48K, reject and come back down. But what's important here is the fractal is showing that we're getting support here on, it's a higher low. All right, we're not breaking this low that we made. It's a higher low. If we do make this higher low, all right, and this could come, you know, like if you take a fib retracement, maybe it's the 618, you know, the golden pocket, something like that. At this point, if we do find support, this would be a great time to long Bitcoin and some other assets as well, some of those altcoins, because from here, in my opinion, since we rejected here and we find a higher low here, we're not going to really find much resistance here. And I don't think we're going to find that much resistance here either. I mean, we could get rejected slightly, come back down and come back up. But because these two highs were taken here by this wick, there isn't that much liquidity here anymore. And there's a lot of inefficiency here that we have to fill. All right, it's kind of like unfinished business, right? We have to fill this gap. Okay, like Bitcoin likes to fill these gaps. It doesn't fill them immediately, but at some point in time it will. And if we do find a higher low here and we break through 47, all right, my next target for taking profits or even a possible reversal, okay, would be this area right here. So it would be anywhere between, I would say, $59,000 to $57,000. And this is, again, just because we have the daily order block here. We have, if you open up our yearly volume again, it's the point of control of the entire year. If we take a fib retracement from the top to the bottom, we have our golden pocket coming in here. It's a pretty heavy resistance for sure. So let me just get rid of all this. All right. And if we look also at, I'm going to just pull up a different chart here. It's basically, it's Exo charts, right? So it's a footprint software that I like to use. And I'm just going to pull up the TPO template that I have to show you guys something. Oh, it's not working for some reason, it's lagging. 1 second. Sorry guys, sometimes it takes a bit of time. All right, so finally loaded. So basically what we're looking at is a TPO template, okay? And this is another thing that's suggesting that we aren't going to just reject here and come down, but we'll actually come up a little higher up until this 46K point. Number one, there's a row of single prints here. And when we have single prints, they tend to act as magnets, all right? So it's basically an inefficiency in the market, and Bitcoin usually, once it gets to these, it fills them completely. So in my opinion, we're going to come up to at least 45.5, but with there being a naked daily point of control right here at 46, we'll probably come up and hit that too. So that's why, in my opinion, that area between 46 to 48K is so important, that we're going to have to watch it for rejection. But if we reclaim it, I mean, we can definitely go a lot higher. In my opinion, this is what should be happening. So if we come up here, we reject it, we get the higher low, I'm expecting up here, 57K. If we come up, we reject, but we don't make a higher low, we're going to come down. Where are we going to go to? Now, that's the question. There's this little area right here where there is a lot of confluence as well. All right, so look, if we see this is a daily order block. All right, if we pull it down here, from here, we have a daily order block, we have our daily level, we have this liquidity still to take. All right, here, and possibly even here. All right, we could come down to that 37K area. All right, so I'm just gonna move the box down there. This would kind of be our long box. All right. And if we look at our yearly volume real quick, bring this back up. I'll turn off the high time frame levels for now so it's a bit cleaner. It's the value area low that we're finally going to start tapping into, all right? And if we bring up the volume of this May to July consolidation, see that? It's also the value area high and the value area low. They're lining up perfectly, all right? And if we take a fib, just out of curiosity, let me check here. A fib from here to here. Yeah, I mean, look at that. You can't, this is a very, very, very good level. If we, doesn't mean we will come down here, but if we do, we got the value area low, the value area high. We have the 786 Fibonacci retracement, and we have a daily order block with all of that resting liquidity. And in terms of, you know, market makers, what they could be doing right now, all right, because I'm not sure if you guys have noticed, I'm not sure if I posted in the Discord actually the high time frame head and shoulders that we have going on, but there does seem to be, if you look here, I mean, this ridiculously bearish pattern, right? We have a left shoulder ahead, and now we have a right shoulder. All right, now these are very bearish patterns, and most people, at least if you read in a book, right, when you read some trading books, they tell you once this happens and the price breaks the neckline, all right, which would be this value area low, we would expect a move that is equal to the height of the head. So that would be, if we measure it quickly, just really roughly, like $10,000. All right, so let's say 10, 11,000. So what happens a lot is that the market makers will make it look very bearish. All right, we might come up to this, reject, come down, lose the value area low. And once this happens, all right, people know about this pattern, right? Everyone's looking at it. Retail and most of the market, all right, is going to short this area. There's going to be so many shorts opening here, and a lot of people will be selling, all right? We might come down a little bit. But with all these shorts and sells coming in, it's going to do, all right, is it's going to fill the lungs of the smart money. So the institutions, the banks, the whales are all buying. And just to prove it to you, look at this. Third largest whale wallet, all right, owns 122,000 Bitcoin. Has been buying Bitcoin since November. Look at these amounts. 250 Bitcoin, 200, 700, 300, 400, 200. Back here, he was buying $2,000 worth of Bitcoin, $1,000 worth of Bitcoin. He's been accumulating Bitcoin, and that's because Bitcoin goes in cycles, right? It'll go up, it'll come down. On the way down, you accumulate. On the way up, you sell. Right now, the fear and greed index for Bitcoin is in extreme fear. Everyone is fearful, but it might not be enough. They might want to really create that extra fear. And if they do make it break this neckline, all the shorts that are going to be opening up here, people selling, this would be a great opportunity to buy. Now, of course, there's always that small chance that the pattern plays out, right? It's called a pattern for a reason because it's played out in the past and we couldn't get very low prices. So if we do see something like this, okay, I would personally look for the buys coming in. All right, you could use Exo charts if you want, or any other footprint software to check and see the sells and the buys coming in. But ideally what you'd want to see is the price comes down, gets bought back up, and reclaims. If it reclaims this value area low, all right, we have the same situation that we had up here where we came over, all right, and then we came under it, and then what happens usually is things go from it rotates from the value area high to the value area low. So now if we lose the value area low, reclaim it, well then automatically we would, best case scenario, we'd see a rotation back to the highs. So we'd see a 60K Bitcoin again in that case. But this is just all speculation for now, right? I'm looking into the future a little bit, but I'm sure that this Head and Shoulders hasn't gone unnoticed. And if they use it to their advantage to get people scared, just keep in mind that it could play out. But if it doesn't, and we see a sign of strength and regain that value area low, great time to enter the market, and enter the market with confidence, because a move like that would definitely, it's very significant. It's like the COVID lows, man. We had back here, we had a humongous drop. We reclaimed it. Look, just to give you an example of what I'd be looking for, right? We had the drop here from COVID, right? And we had a quick V reversal, but I mean, we've seen these things in the past, and it could have just dropped off again for sure. But look what we had. We had, if we look at our market structure, lower high, lower low, lower low, lower high, lower low, and we came here, right? Now, oops, let me put that back. So, yeah, to have a break in market structure now, right? We would have to reclaim this. This was our lower high, right? That we'd have to reclaim, and it hasn't been reclaimed yet, right? So let's say this would be the lower high to reclaim, or even better yet, if you look at it from this perspective, actually, this is actually even better. This was the end of the bull market in 2019, right? So what happened here? We made continuous lower highs, lower lows, right? This was still a lower high. It was a little bit lower than this wick here. Lower highs, lower low, right? This is bearish market structure the entire time from 2019 up until the COVID dump of 2020. This high, which was the lower high, right? is what we need to break in order to confirm the bull trend again, right? And look what happened. We V-reversaled out of there, making higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. We had a little bit of trouble here, right? We kind of stagnated, but then we broke it. Just because we broke it doesn't mean that, you know, it's the start of the bull trend. But what it was is when we retested it right here, we retested this old high for days. Look at these wicks. People were buying this up, and that was the start of the bull trend again. And look at this crazy run up that we had, and we could see something similar here. I mean, depending on what level it comes from, I mean, we can go a lot lower, but in my opinion, to keep bullish market structure, you know, and the way how the people are really fearful right now, in my opinion, this green box, if we do get to it, would be a good buy. But to be extra safe, like I said, just like we saw with the COVID low, if we see a breach of the level, wait for a reclaim, retest, this is where you'd get in. Yeah, so that's pretty much it, guys. I mean, I think I went over everything. Yeah, one last thing, if you guys want to just add a little bit more confluence to what I was saying. Another thing, you guys, if you want to look at, is VWAPs, right? Volume weighted average price. Bitcoin loves to bounce from VWAP to VWAP, okay? And usually when there's untapped VWAPs, it always likes to come back and hit them, right? And these are levels that are usually it's drawn to, kind of like a magnet, kind of like the single prints. So look, right now we're actually currently hitting the previous weekly VWAP. We're finding some resistance there, but because of the bullish market structure that we've had so far, and the fact that we've grabbed so much liquidity, see here, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, my opinion, will probably make a higher low and then break it into the red box. And in the red box, we have a previous daily VWAP untapped, a previous weekly, all the way up until possibly even $49,000 right here. We have a previous daily and a previous monthly VWAP, right? Now I know this is kind of a big range, you know, from 46 to 49K. But like I said, once we approach these levels, look at Market Cipher, look at the 1 hour, 4 hour, 30-minute time frames, look for bearish divergences. If we're getting those bearish divergences and they're confirming bearish, and we see money flow going down, momentum going down, it's a good place to short. You know, you could potentially, once we start seeing the bearish divs, let's say we start seeing them around here, around 48K, you could take a short. You know, we could put, you could, if you really want to be safe, you could put the stop loss above the old high and target, you know, the green box. Or if you want to be a little bit more conservative, you could do something like this. And, you know, you're getting a 3-to-1, you know, return on your risk. So something like this. But just wanted to show you guys the VWAPs and how they add confluence. So like I said, this 46 to 49K box is most likely the next